is this where your behaviour modifications came in? I noticed that you say on your website that you utilise a lot of behaviour modifications in your own life. Could you give an example of something that you maybe done for yourself, one that you've done with a client, the kind of concepts that you sort of create behind them?
Absolutely.
And I mean, do they have to come to somebody like yourself, or can they just impose themselves?
So I like to work with people because I've done it personally, so I can help people, but I feel everyone can kind of impose this on themselves. One of my favorite books is I think it's Seven Habits of Highly Successful People, Stephen Covey, and he talked about the circle of concern versus the circle of influence. And an easy way to explain that is if you imagine a huge circle, that's your circle of concern. That's everything that you're stressed about. Oh my God, what about this? I want to lose weight, but I can't. What happens if I'm late? What happens if this? All this stress, okay? Then in that really big circle, you have a tiny circle like a marble. That's your circle of influence. That's the things you can actually control, like your thoughts, like what you're doing right now. You can't control the past and you can't control the future. You can only control right now. Most people operate outside of their circle of influence, which causes them to be miserable. They're constantly worrying about things they can't control. The biggest tip I have for behavior modification is moving your entire life inside that circle of influence and slowly increasing that circle of influence, you know? So you have to only worry about what you can actually control. And you can control your reaction to situations. Sometimes you can't control someone breaking up with you. You can't control someone hurting you, or you can't control someone doing something with their life. But what you can control is your reaction. That's what separates us from being animals and humans. You know, animals don't really control their reaction, but humans can. Now, sometimes we don't. Don't get me wrong. Someone cuts me off in traffic. I want to chase them the entire day and tell them how I feel. I am not Mother Teresa. I am not a saint. But we do have the ability to control our reactions, you know. So my biggest advice would definitely be circle of concern versus circle of influence. And if you master or at least understand that concept, that has drastically turned my life around.